Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you, not talk to you rather, I wanted to do a video about my experience as an egg donor. I know that there's a lady on here that is about to go through that experience, so I thought, let me just do this video so if she or someone else can be helped by it. I did egg donation, gosh, over 10 years ago now. I learned of it when I was working at an infertility clinic as a medical assistant. And as soon as I found out that you could do it, I was totally on board. I was like, oh, I can totally do this, you know. So I got the information on how to go about doing it. And it was actually, they sent me to an agency. And from there, they explained the fee. So it was, back then, I don't know what it is now, but back then it was $5,000 per donation. And it could possibly go up if you donate, if you're a successful donator and you donate more than once. So the process was to meet with the ladies at the agency, which I did. If they like you, then they send you out for a psych evaluation. So I did that. And that was fairly easy. We didn't talk about donation or children at all. We talked about myself and my past and my parents and how I grew up. So apparently I passed because I made it through to the next step. And the next step was to take pictures of myself and of my daughter. Also to give as much information about myself as I could. Family history, you know, anything that I could think of. The requirements too, by the way, were you had to be under 29 and have one child of your own, which I did. So from there, after I took the pictures and gave all my info, I went into a binder with a bunch of other potential donors. So basically after that, you just wait. You go home and it's a waiting game. I waited so long that I completely forgot about it. And by the time they called me, which was maybe more than a year later, I already was in a relationship with somebody and I kind of just really wasn't interested in it anymore. I didn't even think about it. But I got the phone call and they said they had a couple who really, really liked me and they really, really wanted me to be their donor. So I talked to my boyfriend at the time, and after much convincing, he said, okay, go for it. So the process was, after I said yes, the process was a lot of paper signing. I had to have an attorney. Well, I went through the attorney with the egg donor agency, and the couple had to have an attorney. Like I said, lots of paperwork. And then I went to the OBGYN. And basically at the OB, I was put on birth control. And sorry, that's London. Okay. I'm sorry. I was put on birth control and had lots of ultrasounds. It's kind of like if you guys have ever, those of you who've had an IUI or an IVF, it's kind of like that process. Lots of blood draws, lots of ultrasounds. The first month was strictly birth control so they could regulate my cycle. Second month started the injections. It was an injectable cycle. Excuse me. So I had to give myself injections for about a good 2 weeks. And then you go in for an ultrasound like every other day. Now, mind you, I was working full-time at the time I was doing this. So thank goodness all the appointments were really early in the morning. We're talking before 7. So I was able to go to appointment and then go to work. So you're monitored, and then they kind of give you a range of when you're going to have the retrieval. So I kind of had an idea, so I was prepared for work. And so on the retrieval day, the day before, you give yourself the HCG, just like IUI or IVF, and then you go in for your retrieval. The first time, because I donated twice, the first time they got 24 eggs. So I was a successful donor. Now, unlike what's going on in our community where the lady is donating to a friend and they're going to know what happens, if you donate through an agency, the only thing you get to know, well, through the agency that I donated with, I'm not sure about other agencies, the only thing that I got to know was that I donated 24 eggs and she did get pregnant. I don't know if there was a child. I don't know if she miscarried. I don't know anything else. That's the only thing that I know. And I also signed a paper saying I would be willing to meet the child in the future, well, child, adult, whatever, in the future, and that I would be willing to help it with any health issues that I could help with. Let's say they had the child had some kind of disease. I let them know that I would be willing to take a phone call or to do whatever to help out the child. Now, I didn't have to do that. That's something that was optional, but I agreed to do it. So I donated that time, and I must say the retrieval was no big deal for me. It was a little bit of cramping. Me and my boyfriend at the time had dinner that night. It was so not a big deal for me, but I guess it varies from person to person. So I donated that time, and then about 3 months later, another couple chose me. So same process. Well, same process except not the psych. You only do the psych eval once. So, but it was the same process. I went to the OB. By this time, I was a pro. I already knew what was going to happen. I already knew the birth control, the shots, all that stuff. And the second time, they got 28 eggs. And again, it was successful. Again, she got pregnant and all that jazz. So, after that, they wanted me to be a surrogate, which I was considering being a surrogate, but at the end I just thought, I don't know if I could go, if I personally could do that for someone that I didn't know. I could do it for one of my siblings, one of my sisters, or my brother. I could do it for any of them or a family member. I don't know if I could do it for somebody I didn't know, simply because if you followed me for a long time, you know how difficult this pregnancy was for me with the morning sickness, the gestational diabetes, all that stuff. Now, I can only go through that for someone that I love. So I decided against surrogacy. But as far as the egg donation, I have no regrets. I don't think about it. I've had friends that know that I've done it. They've asked me, don't you wonder if do you have a kid out there? Or, because, you know, I'm in the same city as the women that got my eggs. But I honestly, I don't think about it. I hadn't thought about it in years until I saw that somebody in our community, the vlogging community, is doing it. And that's when I was like, oh, I should totally tell my experience. But it was wonderful, and I would do it again for free. I mean, at this point, I would just give my eggs away. Now, having gone through infertility and watching other women struggle, I would donate with no money. I really would. It would be no problem. I can't go through an agency anymore because, like I said, you have to be under 29 here. But yeah, I wish I would have done a cycle for free. But back then, I hadn't gone through infertility. As far as I knew, I could get pregnant at the drop of a hat. You know, I was in my early 20s. I wasn't thinking about another baby. So yeah, guys, it was very rewarding. And for those of you younger ladies who get a chance to do it, you should totally do it. You can research it on Google. You just type in egg donor agencies in your area. It's also a great way to make an extra buck, you know. There's nothing wrong with being compensated for it. There's nothing wrong with doing something you love and getting paid for it, right? Okay, guys, so that's basically my story as an egg donor. If you have any questions, or if you're in the LA area and you're interested in doing it, I can give you the information to the agency that I use. Just send me a private email. And any other questions you can put below. And as always, my social networks are below. And if you want daily pictures, please follow me on Instagram. Okay, guys, bye. Say bye-bye, Little Mother. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.